I'm about to reveal something that might shock you, something I've seen with my own eyes inside operating rooms, something that most people over 40 are doing every single day that is quietly destroying their knees. I'm Dr. John Marston, and after more than 30 years as an orthopedic surgeon, after performing over 12,000 knee procedures and physically examining the joints of thousands of patients, I can tell you with absolute certainty that almost everything you've been told about knee pain is wrong. You've been told that your cartilage is wearing out, that your knees are bone on bone, that you should avoid stairs, avoid bending, protect the joint. Doctors tell you to rest it, reduce movement, rely on support. And it sounds logical, except it's not just incomplete, it's dangerous. Because that entire model of thinking about knee pain is outdated, it's misleading, and it's quietly accelerating the damage happening inside your body right now. And this could literally determine whether you're walking independently in 10 years or struggling to stand up from a chair. Margaret was 72 years old when I first met her. Active, independent, proud. She walked every morning, followed every instruction her doctor gave her. For 8 years, she had been told to protect the knee. She avoided stairs, used her arms to stand up, shifted her weight to her right leg. Her x-rays showed moderate osteoarthritis, nothing severe. Her blood pressure was stable at 128/78. Her doctor told her she was managing well. But then something changed. She started feeling instability. Not sharp pain at first, just weakness. Then came the day she stood up from her sofa, her left knee buckled, and she fell. Hip fracture, emergency surgery, loss of independence within 6 months. All because the real problem was never her cartilage. It was the way force was being distributed inside her knee joint, and nobody told her. Here's what I mean. Imagine your knee like a set of precision-engineered gears. Those gears are designed to handle enormous loads, 3 to 5 times your body weight every time you climb stairs. That's normal, that's expected, but only if the surrounding system is working. The hips, the thighs, the stabilizing muscles, they act like shock absorbers, like suspension cables on a bridge. When they're strong and coordinated, they spread the load evenly. But when you avoid using your knee, when you shift your weight, when you rely on your arms, those support systems weaken, and suddenly all that force concentrates into one small area inside the joint. Pressure skyrockets, pain increases, damage accelerates, not because you moved, but because you stopped moving correctly. Comment below your age and whether you feel pain when standing up from a chair, just yes or no, because what I'm about to show you next goes against everything you've been told. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why your knee hurts and how to stop the damage before it's too late. Now I'm going to explain the biology behind what actually went wrong in Margaret's knee, because until you understand this mechanism, nothing you do will work. Think of your knee joint like a busy traffic intersection. The bones are the roads, the cartilage is the smooth asphalt, but the real controllers of that intersection are the muscles, especially your quadriceps and your gluteal muscles. They are the traffic lights, the signals directing force safely through the joint. When those signals are working, cars move smoothly, pressure is distributed, nothing crashes. But when those signals fail, when your hip muscles are weak or your thigh muscles are poorly coordinated, it's like all the traffic lights suddenly go dark. Cars pile into one lane, pressure builds, collisions happen. That's exactly what's happening inside your knee. And I've seen this under direct visualization. When I cut into a knee during surgery, I don't just see worn cartilage. I see areas of extreme localized damage, tiny zones where pressure has been concentrated again and again, like a pothole forming in one exact spot while the rest of the road looks relatively intact. That's not random degeneration. That's mechanical overload. First, your hip muscles weaken, especially the gluteus medius, the muscle responsible for stabilizing your pelvis. Second, your body compensates by shifting your weight, often without you even realizing it. Third, that shift causes your knee to collapse slightly inward with every step. increasing something we call medial compartment loading. That means the inner part of your knee is taking far more force than it was designed to handle. And here's where it gets dangerous. This isn't JF pust about bones and cartilage. At the cellular level, this excessive pressure triggers inflammatory pathways. Cells inside the joint release enzymes, matrix metalloproteinases, that literally start breaking down cartilage tissue faster. At the same time, proteins like cytokines increase, amplifying pain signals. So now you have a double problem: mechanical overload and biochemical inflammation feeding each other in a vicious cycle. A study published in the Journal of Orthopedic Research followed over 1,200 patients with knee osteoarthritis for 5 years. They found that individuals with poor hip strength had a 47% faster progression of joint damage. Not a small difference, nearly double. And yet most treatment plans never address this. Thomas was 78 when he came to me. He had been doing exactly what he was told: resting his knee, avoiding stairs, taking anti-inflammatory medication daily for over 6 years. His pain level was a constant 6 out of 10. His blood pressure had climbed to 142/85 due to reduced activity. He told me, "Doctor, I'm doing everything right, but it's getting worse." And he was right. He was following instructions perfectly, but those instructions were failing him because no one addressed the real mechanism: the loss of coordinated muscle control around his joint. Comment balance below if you've ever felt unstable or unsure when walking or climbing stairs, because what I'm about to reveal next is the second hidden mechanism that's silently increasing the load on your knee every single time you move, and almost no one is talking about it. Now, we need to go deeper, because what I'm about to explain is the second and third mechanism that are quietly accelerating your knee damage every single day, even if you think you're being careful. The second mechanism is something called load intolerance. Your knee is not just a hinge, it's a living, adaptive system. Think of it like a muscle itself. If you never challenge it, it becomes weaker, less capable, more sensitive. Imagine your joint like a sponge. When you compress it through movement, it absorbs nutrients. When you release, it draws in fresh fluid. That's how cartilage stays alive. But when you avoid bending, when you stop using stairs, when you rely on your arms to stand, that sponge stops being compressed. It dries out. It becomes brittle. And then, when you finally do bend your knee, maybe to sit down or step off a curb, it can't tolerate the load anymore. Pain spikes, not because the movement is harmful, but because your joint has lost its capacity to handle normal force. A study in the Journal of Nutrition and Movement Science showed that individuals who reduced knee bending by just 30% over 6 months experienced a 52% increase in pain sensitivity. That's not damage. That's deconditioning. Now, the third mechanism is even more overlooked. It's poor movement coordination across the entire chain: your hips, your core, your ankles. Think of your body like a suspension bridge. If one cable weakens, the entire structure shifts. Load redistributes unpredictably. Your knee becomes the weak link, absorbing forces it was never meant to handle alone. This is why isolated knee exercises fail. You can strengthen your quadriceps all day, but if your glutes are inactive and your core is unstable, you're still sending dangerous loads into your joint. I see this constantly. Patients come in saying, "I've been doing leg extensions for months," but their pain hasn't improved because they're strengthening the wrong pattern. Eleanor was 69 when she came to me, severe pain climbing stairs. She avoided bending her knee for nearly 3 years. Her pain score was 8 out of 10. She told me she felt like her knee was giving up. But when we tested her, her cartilage damage was only moderate. The real issue? Her hip strength was 40% below normal, and her movement pattern during standing placed nearly all her weight on one side. We changed one thing. We retrained how she stood up. Slow, controlled sit-to-stand movements. Equal weight through both legs. Engaging the hips first, then the knees. Within 8 weeks, her pain dropped to a 3. Not managed. Reduced. Because we addressed the mechanism. Now I'm going to start giving you specific actions, but you need to understand this first. This is not about avoiding pain. It's about restoring your body's ability to handle load, not protecting your knee, rebuilding it. Comment strong below if you're ready to rebuild your knees instead of protecting them. Because in the next part, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step protocol, what to do, how to do it, and how often to reverse this process and take control of your knee health again. Now I'm going to give you the complete protocol, and I need you to pay very close attention because this is where everything changes. Not manage your knee, not cope with the pain. Reverse the process that's breaking it down. The first component is controlled sit-to-stand training. This is the foundation. Here's why. It retrains how force is distributed between your hips and knees. You're going to sit in a stable chair, feet flat, shoulder width apart. Lean slightly forward, press evenly through both feet, and stand up slowly over 3 seconds. Then sit back down over 3 seconds. Not fast, controlled. The dosage supported by clinical rehabilitation studies is 3 sets of 10 repetitions, twice daily, morning and evening. This reactivates your gluteal muscles and restores balanced loading. The second component is hip strengthening, specifically targeting the gluteus medius. This is the muscle that stops your knee from collapsing inward. Lie on your side, keep your top leg straight, lift it slowly to about 40 degrees, hold for 2 seconds, then lower. 3 sets of 12 repetitions per side, once daily. Within weeks, this changes how your entire lower body moves. The third component is seated knee extensions, but done correctly. Sit upright, extend your leg until it's straight, hold for 2 seconds, then lower slowly. Add light resistance if possible. 3 sets of 15 repetitions once daily. This stabilizes the knee joint and supports functional movement. Now here's what you must not do. Do not avoid bending your knee. Do not shift your weight to one side. Do not rely on your arms to stand unless absolutely necessary. Every time you do that, you reinforce the exact pattern that's damaging your joint. Now I can already hear the objections, but my doctor told me to rest. Bring the research. Show them the data on load tolerance and muscle coordination. Most doctors, when they see the evidence, will reconsider, but some won't. If your doctor insists that rest is the solution while your function is declining, you need a second opinion. Another objection: this takes time. Yes, it does. And so does losing your independence. A hip fracture costs over $20,000 in treatment and rehabilitation. This costs minutes a day, cheapest insurance you can buy. Margaret didn't get this chance, but Thomas did. After 12 weeks on this exact protocol, his pain dropped from 6 to 2. His blood pressure improved to 130/80 because he started moving again. He told me, "I feel stable for the first time in years." That's what happens when you fix the mechanism. Now subscribe to this channel right now because the algorithm will not show you this kind of information again unless you do. If you don't subscribe, you could miss the one video that changes everything for you or someone you love. Leave a comment. Tell me your age and your biggest struggle with your knees. Every comment pushes this information to someone who desperately needs it. Share this video. Send it to anyone over 40 who complains about knee pain. Somewhere right now, someone is one fall away from losing their independence. This could stop it. I've also created a complete knee restoration guide with detailed progressions and advanced strategies. Click the link in the description and join the newsletter to get access. Comment one of 3 things. Start if you're beginning today, trying if you're unsure, or done if you've already been working on your knees. Bookmark this video, come back to it, follow the protocol, and take control of your future.